All right, that was a win for the favorites, not so much the underdogs, but it was an exciting match.
Yes.
It was an exciting match.
Obviously, this uplifting family movie is actually longer than we expected.
Yes.
And they're going to go into the
Sequel.
off-season and then have a bunch of montages.
They go into the off-season after every tournament.
Yeah.
I think what we saw there was the dice roll of ACN. I think they had the right idea when we saw once they got jams on that Guardian, the Dominics went down fairly convincingly, but the jams just didn't land early enough. By the time they did that, they lost a Widow. So
Yeah, this is a team that RVB built, I'm sure, to fight Tinkers. And it actually is pretty good against Tinkers.
Yeah.
If they'd gotten a jam a couple cycles earlier, if they'd been able to knock down that first Dominics faster, then it could have gone the other way.
And we were watching. I mean, there was a little rep icon. You could see it, and you were just waiting for that to go away.
Yeah.
And once that went through. But, I mean, they had jams on a lot of other stuff as well. Should they just have put everything on the Guardian?
Yeah, we were talking about that. Like, it's tough to decide because you get way more efficiency out of racial jammers if you use them on the right ship. So if they have Galente jammers, they might be wanting to use those on Inyos or something to just get more mileage out of them. But then there's the argument that Bach was making that like you just have to dump everything into the Guardian because so much of the match rests on that even the long shot off-race jammers need to be on that as well so that you just are sure to lock in that jam earlier.
Yeah, I think we had a bit of a disagreement about that. It's one of those things where the Enyos are going to be doing enough damage that I think throwing your Galente racial jammers on them is going to be worthwhile. It's possible that expecting an Aneros for the logistics, RVB brought more Galente jammers than anything else, which is actually, I think, statistically a good choice to make. But then the use of the Guardian might have made them a little bit weaker against this team.
Well, I think certainly the jammer they wasted, or multiple jammers, I'm not sure, on the Dominics that they were shooting.
Yes,
just
that was a
pointless. To me, that's the one at very least you have to put on
I'm
the
sure
Guardian.
that maybe there was an accidental misjam from the guy, from the Widow when he was applying his torps, or
Possibly,
cruise.
Yeah.
What about the bans? Were they, in retrospect, so Keris and Rook by Hun and Maulus and Celestis by RVB?
Maulus and Celestis is certainly really smart. That's
Yeah.
the biggest problem for the Widows is a fast-locking E-warship that keeps them from doing their job. So that makes tons of sense to me.
Yep. And then, going after the Rook, like the jams and damps for Hun, it's smart, but except that it maybe telegraphs your intentions too much. Because that just screams Tinker. And that might be, RVB might have thought, hey, look, they made these bans. This is where we can, like, we've got them. We know what they're going to bring now. But their counter just didn't do the job. Like, luck of the draw.
I think RVB, like, that was really smart setup, though. It was really close. I think they got exactly what they wanted. In terms of a matchup, and it almost worked.
Yeah, they
just
put
not
themselves
quite.
very,
Maybe a little
very well.
unlucky. But.
Yeah. We do have the stats up for the next match. It's MIF versus Agony Empire. MIF have defeated Angeli Mortis, they've defeated Solar Fleet and Shadow Cartel, they've lost to Darkness of Despair, while Agony Empire have defeated Sadistica, Pizza, and lost to Pandemic Legion.
These are both relatively decent teams. I mean, like beating Shadow Cartel was a good move, like a good turn by MIF. That was quite impressive.
I feel like this is a really even match.
I would say so, except for that Agony have a flagship, and MIF didn't bother to bring one. I'm not sure why you would do that, but
They don't need one.
Yeah, I don't think the flagship is a gigantic swing, but yeah, you're always better off submitting a flagship. Like we've seen teams submit some pretty affordable flagships. You can put in a get-in with a couple of Imperial Navy newts, and that's very affordable, and it's still really good.
It's a mind game, even if never fielded. It makes them think about what could you be bringing with the back.
There's no reason to ever ignore the flagship.
I mean, it's an extra ship, why not? Anywho, did I go through the bans here? I did not.
No.
MIF have banned out the Balgorn and the Armageddon.
Don't want to see
Potentially tinker one way or another. It could be blasters.
Yeah.
Agony Empire have banned out the Blackbird and the Rattlesnake.
Rattlesnake is weird.
So is the Blackbird, really.
Well, we've seen some strong rattlesnake comps today, especially the was what beat the Dommies.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's interesting.
Maybe we'll see some dummies.
It's possible this may be Dami versus Dami again, because all these jams are good. Or all these jams, all these bans do work well as counters against Dominixes.
Well, all right. There's only one way to find out. Who do you think is going to win Rise?
Agony.
I'm gonna go with Agony.
I'm going to go with Agony as well.
I'm going to go with MIF. I went with them earlier today, and they stomped whoever they played last time, and I think they might do it again.